Right, welcome to this Tactics and Showcase video, looking at Drukhari here. Going to focus in on the Archon here in this video. So many different combinations you can go for. I'll be covering my own combination here that I'm planning to use, but you must check the comment section below. I'm going to be reading the comment section below of interest as well to see what combos are out there for the Drukhari Archon, one of the HQ choices that you can take. It's also a showcase video. I'm going to zoom in just a moment. You'll see the two Archons that I have in my current army. So I have two. I'll zoom in here and you can take a close look. It is a showcase video. It gives you a chance to zoom in at the models and you can use that as a painting reference if you're going to copy the colour scheme that I've gone for. So this is the first one. This is my commander actually I'm planning to use. So I'm planning to run two HQs, two Archons. And it's sort of a previous list, sort of saying that it was father and son type thing going on with these. So there's one, he's the dad, and then here's the son, and he's been trained up to lead the army, that kind of thing. So that's the leader, or the warlord. So Games Workshop, since I painted these up, they released a plastic Archon model. This is one of the older ones. It did come out when Games Workshop revamped the Drukhari, and they originally released in lead. So this is a lead model here, a metal model. And then some parts in plastics, this arm here, the agonizer, this pistol in plastic, but the body part here, the main part, is in lead. So too is this bit on the back. So there he is. And then second in command, again it's just an Archon, same loadout here. There he is. Pretty cool with the agonizer stretched out all the way across to here. Looks quite cool. This is the colour scheme I sort of made up, influenced by the colour of the armour seen on the artwork there on the book. See that colour there? I tried to replicate that as best as I could so you can see it on the armour just here. And then just to lift the whole thing up, I used this fluorescent green and then also this blue, two contrasting colours, and you'll see it echoed in all of the vehicles and so on. There is a painting tutorial for the Drukhari. It's here on YouTube. It's put together a few years ago, but I'll show you from start to finish how to paint them up in this colour scheme. And then over on the Plus channel there's an in-depth painting tutorial, and I'll show you how to paint one of the vehicles, and that gives you an idea of how to paint the bigger projects as well. So there's plenty of resources if you're looking to paint up the Drukhari this way. And I've talked to different players, and what some have done is, because this is a layer of inks that I've used here, and they swap them out. So they'll swap out the green and blue and use maybe red and orange, or red and yellow, or orange and yellow, different colours. So you can do variations of I can give you the technique and then you can swap your colours out. Some have changed the blue here to red, for example, or orange, so that's all of an option as well. So you can customise the colour scheme. You don't have to copy what I've done. You really can change things around just by selecting the different colours and changing the washes, and you get an entirely different look, but still follow along the instructions given in those videos. So just give you an idea of what you can do. But I quite like the idea, and sort of the theme is sort of a Necron hunting Drukhari army where they search for Necrons, and it's a lot of nanotechnology type for poisoning machines type weapons that they have. So that's the kind of theme, and they specialise in hunting machines. So they sort of hunt Necrons is sort of the theme for these. So I'll just push those two to the side. They're quite small, but I think they're a useful HQ choice, and nice and cheap as well. They don't cost too much compared to other armies. So the Archon then, it's power level 4, or cover points. It's not dirt cheap though, it's 70 points to start off with. But for that you get movement 8, so they're super quick. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 3, toughness 3, 5 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9 and 5 up save. So immediately I'm thinking you need to take advantage of the firepower that's available and close combat as well, because 5 attacks is really good. 5 wounds is pretty durable. We've got a 5 up save, but they can protect themselves better than that. And then weapon skill, and they get into reroll, 1s for friendly Cabal units, that's including the unit himself, which are within 6. So 2 hit rerolling 1s, very reliable in close combat, and then it applies for shooting. So 2 hit rerolling 1s. It's well worth giving this guy a decent shooting option as well. So it comes with a splinter pistol, which is 0 points, and then the husk blade, which has always been popular, is 6 points. +1 strength, so fights with strength 4, AP -2, and D3 damage. So it's not too bad, that weapon. It is pretty good. And the splinter pistol, just a poisoned weapon, 4+ to win, range 12. So this model may replace its husk blade with an agonizer. The agonizer is a bit cheaper. It is 4 points. But I actually quite rate the agonizer, as these two are equipped with here, because it's poisoned weapon. So no matter what you're fighting against, it could be a plague marine or a trigon, it's just forced to wound, which is really good. It's AP -2, it's got a bit of bite to it, but only 1 damage, but I think it's an alright weapon, it's okay. I wouldn't say these weapons are too scary, but they're alright. Then you can go for Power Sword, which is strength for the user. It's AP -3, 1 damage, but you're fighting at strength 3, so I don't think that's a good choice to go for. I think it's still 4 points. Power Sword, yeah, no, I'd definitely choose the Agonizer for sure. Then you've got the Venom Blade, which is a poisoned weapon. Add 2 to wound rolls made for this weapon unless it's targeting a vehicle. So you're able to wound targets a lot easier, like infantry, but there's no minus on the AP and it's only 1 damage, so I don't think the Venom Blade's that particularly good. It's only 2 points. So Agonizer or Husk Blade are the two options I think to go for the Archon. You can replace the Splinter Pistol with a Blast Pistol. I think this is a must. Blast Pistol is 10 points, but your range 6, pistol 1, strength 8, -4 and D6 damage. Fantastic pistol weapon to have. And at 2 hit rerolling 1s, and you're a character, so you're quite hard to target, then I definitely think it's a good option to go for. So I'd take Blast Pistols. I haven't modelled it on here, so I might have to cut the arm off, or at least just the pistol part there, up to where it meets the hand, and then stick a Blast Pistol on there. So I think it's well worth it. Give a Blast Pistol to both of these, and they got a little bit of a punch then as far as firepower is concerned. So they do get power from pain as per usual. So 6 is to ignore damage on 5 wounds. It's useful enough. So one of those wounds you're probably going to block. Then on turn 2 or battle round 2, you can reroll charges and advances, which is pretty good. Then +1 to hit rolls. Still on 2 to hit anyway. Morale's fine, and then it's -1 from the enemy leadership. But the first few turns, their bonuses I think are useful enough. Okay, so then he's then armed with this shadow field here. It makes him very unique compared to other characters that are out there. This model has a 2+ invuln save, which is very rare in 40k, which cannot be re-rolled for any reason, so you've got to remember that during the game. You can't use a command re-roll, for example, if it fails, but still 2+ invuln save is very useful. The first time this invuln save is failed, the shadow field ceases to function for the remainder of the battle. So once it's gone, it's gone. But it can be infuriating for the opponent there if you keep rolling 2+. Maybe you're up against like a really good character and he's striking you with really good weapons, but you keep blocking it on 2+. I guess it's not as good as it used to be because of, in 8th edition now, mortal wounds being introduced, but still it's a pretty good line of defence. Once that's gone, it then does drop down to a 5+ save after that. So a helpful enough character, the Archon. I wouldn't stake too much on them though. They're not as potent as other characters that are out there, but I think the philosophy of with my Dark Elder, I'm planning to sort of gang up. So there's a decent target, the opponent has a decent unit, multiple Drukhari units sort of ganging up, and the ability to quickly coordinate that because you have quick units on the table, I think is the way to play them. Instead of relying on one strong unit, which the Drukhari don't really have individual units that are particularly strong. But I think it's more the ability to dart around the table and gang up and stuff. I think it's their strength. So that's sort of the philosophy that I'm taking with my Drukhari list that I'm putting together. So with the Archon, that's the build that you can take. So I recommend taking the blast pistol for sure. Just taking advantage of that 2+ to hit with the ballistic skill and re-rolling ones. It's useful to hang around with other units. So yeah, it needs to be. It's interesting actually. It needs to be units from the appropriate carball here. So I was going to say re-rolling ones with Incubi, for example, but no, because Incubi are not aligned to a carball here. No, they're not. So useful for Drukhari warriors, that kind of thing, and the vehicles as well. Like a Ravager, for example, has a carball alignment as well. So useful to hang around with those kind of units. So further enhancements. I mean, you're fascinated to hear what kind of combos that people go for. So I'll run through the combinations I'm planning on going for here. So. Yes, relics then, or artifacts of cruelty here. The ones that I've had my eye on. If you go for the husk blade, you can swap it out for a Jin blade. It replaces the bearer's husk blade, and it's +1 strength. It's going to fight at strength 4, AP -3, and D3 damage. You get an extra 2 attacks as well. And then you have to roll dice at the end of the fight phase. If you use the weapon on a 1, it's a mortal wound. So quite unlikely, but that makes that a bit better. The Helm of Spite is useful enough as well. Lets you deny psychic power, and it's auto perils the warp for whoever cast it as well. But the other one, can't take the Triptych Whip there because it's for the Succubus. But yeah, I take Obsidian Rose as my carball usually to grant the extra 6 inches to my firepower for my carballite units. But you then have access to the Armour of Misery here. It's only for the Archon. The wearer has a 3+ save, so you fail your 2+, and you drop down to a 3+ regular save, which is better than the 5+. In addition, it's -1 to the hit rolls for attacks that target the wearer in the fight phase. So -1 to hit as well. It's pretty good, that one. If you really think your Archon's going to get stuck into fighting in close quarters, then that one's particularly useful. Then for Warlord traits, the one I've had my eye on, I'm planning to use is Soul First. And again, if you plan to use one of these to get stuck into close combat, you get an extra attack in which turn in which you charge. So you're on 6 attacks then, which is pretty good. And then if you charge, word charged, or made heroic intervention. In addition, the Warlord regains 1 lost wound each time they slay an enemy model in the fight phase. Again, it's a big bonus if you're planning on getting stuck in and fighting against different targets. You're actually going to regain lost wounds as well in the fight phase. So pretty, if you're boasting a 2+ save and you a 3+ save on top of that maybe as well for the Armour of Misery, and you're taking a few wounds here and there, but then you can start to regain them back. It's a pretty good combination there with Soul First. The others here, I'll run through those as well just to see, but Hatred Eternal is pretty good. Rerolling foul wound rolls, that's useful for your 4+ to wound for the poisoned weapon with the Agonizer, so that's pretty good. And then Ancient Evil, the opposing player must roll an extra dice to take a morale test. If units are in 3 inches of this Warlord, use the highest result. I don't think that's particularly good. So, Card with the Black Card, Labyrinth Cunning. Whilst your Warlord is alive, roll d6 each time your opponent spends a command point to use a stratagem. You gain 1 command point for each roll of a 6. So that's useful enough, not bad. Card with the Poison Tongue. You can use this Warlord's leadership whilst within 12 of them. For any units can use that. It's okay. Increase the damage characteristic weapons other than artifacts of cruelty used by this Warlord. That's pretty good. Put that on the Agonize. It's damage 2. That one's pretty cool. I'd rate that one there. And then Famed Savagery. Cover of the Flayed Scar. Increase the Warlord's strength characteristics by 1 during any turn in which they were charged, made heroic intervention. That one's pretty good as well. And then that's onto your Witch Cults just there. So yeah, that one's possibly worth going for as well. +1 to the damage characteristic. If you know you're up against Primaris, for example, make all of the close combat attacks damage 2. Yeah, it would be actually pretty good. So, I mean, stratagems, if you go for Armour of Misery here, -1 to hit rolls for attacks in the fight phase, and you combine that with something like lightning fast reactions, it's a further -1 to the hit rolls. So in close combat, you know, -2 to hit, it's pretty good. You know, it's a guardsman fighting away, needing 4s, and all of a sudden needs 6s to actually get the hits there. So it's a pretty good combination you can go for by using lightning fast reactions, but it's 2 command points there to use that. So that's pretty much what I've had my on for my own combination I'm going for. So the plan is with these two, one to join in the attack, in which case I'll give more of an emphasis to better protection, better close combat abilities by using relics, warlord traits and so on. And then the other one to hang back and to help with the firepower, so Ravagers, Warriors and so on. Just granting those reroll ones to hit for the firepower will be useful enough for sure. And then the model to act as a bit of a bodyguard as well. Unit closing in against a Ravager, you can jump in for 2 up in 1 save and try and block a charge from taking place. Absorb the attacks coming in with that 2+ in 1 save. So that's the idea. I've got 2 of them, 1 to attack, 1 to defend is sort of the philosophy that I'm going for with these. I'd be fascinated to see what combinations people come up with. So in the comment section, if you run Archons, leave the combo that you go for. It'd be fascinating to hear what other Drukhari players, the way they're running the Archon, and there's all sorts of combos you can go for, and then sort of give a report as to how effective it's been as well. And it'd be a great help to those tuning in looking for better tactics for their Drukhari units, and I'll be interested to read as well to see what combinations seem to work well. But there it is, that's the tactics and showcase video for the Drukhari Archon. Check out the painting tutorial for the Drukhari on the channel here, and if you want more help then there is the in-depth painting tutorial on the Plus channel as well. But keep a lookout for more tactical videos, and keep a lookout for the Drukhari, hopefully raiding sometime soon in the future. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.